All right, so we do need to do a few extension installs for Visual Studio Code. That's going to help us as a developer, as well as learning the material, and just really to make our lives in general a lot easier. Next thing that we're going to go over this is there will be a few settings that you may need to alter, and we're going to go through those in this video. So it might be a little long compared to some of the others. And feel free to pause the video and make sure that yours is getting set up properly as well. And again, if you are needing help with this, make sure that you reach out. All right, with that being said, inside Visual Studio Code, we have this little Tetris block that we see here on the far left. That is the extensions. We can go ahead and select the extensions, and this is what I want us to go ahead and type in there. Now, I know that we talked earlier, hey, I have these cool little icons. Again, this part 1 here is optional, and if you just do a search for material icons, it's this one right here. That's the one that I'm using in case you want to make yours look like mine. The next thing that would be a must for you to download and install for an extension is the Python extension. It's made by Microsoft, so nice and safe, and then we can go ahead and install it. It may ask you to restart your extensions. Perfectly fine, go ahead and do that. Sometimes you will have to restart Visual Studio Code depending upon what version of Visual Studio Code you have, as well as the extension setup. Next is going to be something called Code Runner. It looks like this right here where it's a .run. That is going to help us out tremendously because we're going to be able to run the files with a simple play button rather than typing it in the terminal. And again, for Mac users, there's specific settings that you're going to want to make sure that you have set up. We're going to go over that in this video as well. And for Windows users, as well as Mac users, we're going to have some generic settings that will just make your Code Runner look a little bit better than out of the box. With that being said, the last one that would be good not only for this course but for any follow-along courses as well, we call it Prettier, and it's usually this one right here with the blue check mark. That's the one that I use from prettier.io. It's just going to help you with the formatting of the code, and again, it works on many file types, but that's a nice one to make sure that you have stored in your toolbox. So with that being said, let's go ahead and go through some of the settings that we may need to do here for us. Now, as far as making sure that our code is running in the proper Python, because some of you may have downloaded a previous version, we want to make sure that we're rocking and utilizing 3.12, at least 3.12 or higher. Based upon this video, you can click on it down here, and this is the interpreter that you're going to be utilizing. Mac users, we definitely want to make sure that that says Python 3 at least. Next is let's go ahead and set up some of our settings that we want to do here for Code Runner. And up at the top of your menu options, Windows users, it'll be under your file. For Mac users, it's under here where it's called settings. And that's what we want to open up. We're going to go ahead and type in Code Runner or just Runner to get exactly where we want to go. And this is for everybody. We want to make sure that some of these things are checkmarked that are going to definitely help us out. We want to clear out the previous output, meaning that every time we run code, we want to go ahead and basically have a clean slate and then have our code run. And this checkmark does that for us. The next thing that we want to make sure that we have set up here, let me see if I'm finding it here properly. I don't want the execution message to be shown, so this one needs to be unchecked. And it looks like I altered this one here as well, show the run command, so I don't want to see that either. And same thing for this one, so I changed all of these. All right, Mac users, you definitely want to go ahead and edit. Oh, and this one down here as well, default formatter. We want to make sure that we utilize Prettier for it. Now let's go look at the execution map, and this is for Mac users only. If we go ahead and click this edit setting in JSON, all right, this may look scary, but don't worry, it's not that scary. Let's go ahead and scroll all the way down. We want to look at for Python. This is for Mac users only. You do want to alter this right here where it says Python. typically says Python on there. We want to make sure that this is updated to Python 3. That's really it. All right, let's go ahead. Once we have all this thing done, go ahead and save it, get out of there. And in the next video, we're going to show you ways to execute this hello world. And then we're going to show you that code runner extension. All right. So again, if you have any questions at this point, please don't hesitate to ask us, because we're more than willing to help. All right. We'll see you in the next video.